So today I am going to share my tips and my tricks to eyeshadow. Something about me, if you don't know yet already, my absolute favorite thing of makeup is eyeshadow. I always like using different colors, different combinations, and so that's where I feel most comfortable to give you advice because I love eyeshadow so much. Unfortunately, due to a series of unfortunate events, I forgot to press record, my stupidity, I did have to record this intro beginning part again, and so I didn't notice it till I was editing, and so I had to reshoot this a day after, so you'll notice that in a few seconds or so I'm going to look completely different, and that's because it was a different day. My very first tip and trick, most important thing that I've ever learned, life-changing moment here. It is the best thing. It can make a drugstore eyeshadows be way more pigmented. Pretty much at the end of the day, all my makeup, a lot of it has worn off. Lipstick has come off from eating. Foundation is still kind of there, but also like half starting to just not be there. But my eyeshadow is normally still fully there, and I have to completely remove it, and that's because of eyeshadow primer. I would suggest, highly recommend the Wet n Wild Fergie eyeshadow primer. So this is $4.99, I believe, at the drugstore. So Walgreens, CVS, even Target has started selling Wet n Wild. Super cheap and works so well. I've never had any issues with this. I also have the Urban Decay primer cushion, and this actually came with a palette alongside it, so I didn't buy the full size. But if you're looking for more, if you're just more into high end, I would suggest this. This one works. I would say these work pretty equivalent. I haven't had any issues with them. Another option, it's not necessarily sold as a eye primer, but it kind of works the same way, is jumbo eye pencils. So NYX has these jumbo eye pencils, and not all of them, I probably wouldn't suggest colors, but if you get it in white, I have it in milk, which I have had recommended to me by a lot of people, but I do know that on YouTube, a lot of the YouTube beauty people have it in cottage cheese. I'm not going to sell that one because I haven't personally tried it, but I'm assuming it would be pretty similar. This works a little bit differently in it still lasts all day, but I would say that the emphasis is more on color. So anything I've put on top of the white really is like bam in your face. It's really bright, really colorful, and less on the long term. While like actual eye primers are gonna have more of a focus on like equally, and maybe not, probably a little bit more on the long wearing rather than pigmentation. I'll show you real quickly how I put it on. Is really simple. Second trick that I have for you is, this is something that I did not do very well for quite some time in my eyeshadow years. So here's a little demo for you. Not enough. Still not enough. Yeah, you could probably make it work, but honestly, you cannot blend your eyeshadow out enough. And blend. I would also just suggest when blending, you can blend a little bit with the brush that has color on it. But then I would go in with a clean brush. My third tip and trick is to, so I have this like crown brush. It's the C 47 crease and shadow brush. My favorite. The reason I'm mentioning this is that it has two ends, and so this end is really fluffy. It's really good for blending the shadow. I do use it to pack on because I don't like using a lot of different brushes, but do have several from the beauty boxes and whatnot. So a little bit of a shorter, stubby one might work better for just packing it onto the lid, and then this one kind of for blending. This other end, this crease thing, works really well for getting more defined right in that corner, in that outer V. Love it. I've always struggled, like I look at beauty gurus and they're just like blending it out and it looks lovely. They have a total range from like highlight to dark, and I'm like, how did you do that? I don't understand. And I think part of it is being able to get into small areas with a little bit of color and then blending it out a lot. So using multiple brushes is wonderful. Alright, real quick, I am going to go over types of eyeshadows, how to use them and whatnot. First thing I'm going to go over is like the cream eyeshadows, and I've had a lot of luck with these cream shadows. They're really easy to create really strong pigmentation, and they last all day, and you really don't need primer under cream shadows. The eyeshadow that I'm going to show you real quick is the Maybelline Color Tattoos, which I'm sure that you have heard a lot of people talk about. This was in Bold Gold. I really like the Color Tattoos for the, I guess, metals, for the silver, for the gold, for the bronze. I have a blue and I just don't like it as much. But these really show up so well, and I can put powder on top of it and create a really good range, and it makes the powder last all day. So this almost could be a substitute for eye primer. Alright, the most common form of eyeshadow that I think most people use is powder. This is my Urban Decay Ammo palette, and I'm in love with Urban Decay eyeshadows, and I wish that I had more. They normally come pressed in a palette, and depending on if it's drugstore or if it's high-end, the pigmentation may or may not be there. With the powder, I would definitely suggest that eye primer. It really, really helps. That's where you need lots of blending. So you definitely have more work using a powder than you do a cream, but you do kind of have more color options with pressed powder, which is why people tend to use it over it. The last form of eyeshadow is powder that is not pressed, so loose powders. So I kind of have this Bella Pierre. It kind of has a little holes, and this is like a charcoal gray, and these work really well, but they are messy. There's a lot of fallout, and that is why a lot of people don't use them. But you do get better color payout than you do when it's pressed. Alright, so those are all of my tips and tricks for eyeshadows. Feel free to leave any questions below that you have that I might have left out. I kind of just tried to brainstorm things that I thought were helpful to me. I would love for you to like, comment, subscribe, something to let me know that you watched and that you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. That's all I have.